Oh hey, I didn't see you come in there. So this week I have been super busy. I just got back from a hike out on the PCT in California. I'm currently getting prepped and doing shakedown hikes for a trip that I have overseas to do the Tour de Mont Blanc again in about a week. And this week I've been super busy shooting a bunch of new videos for here on the channel while I'm gone for 3 weeks in Europe. So today I figured I would show you guys something completely different that you've probably never seen before. Most people that follow me know that for the past 3 or 4 years, I've been doing a podcast, an audio podcast called The Outdoor Evolution. But did you also know that I do a weekly video podcast? For 2 years, I've been doing a video podcast every single Monday. A podcast where I talk about all the new gear that I'm currently testing and trying out that I might add to my kit later, new gear that I'm developing with my gear company. I also show behind the scenes stuff of shooting YouTube videos and this crazy lifestyle that I've been living for the past 9 years, and I talk about a lot of my trips, a lot of my adventures, bikepacking, backpacking, mountaineering, and world travel from the past and some of the stuff that I have coming up. So today, I figured I would show you guys an episode of that podcast, specifically because this episode I'm talking about the rest of my adventures for the summer and some in the fall that I have planned. I show some new budget gear that I've recently picked up off of Amazon to start putting to the test because it's been years since I've done one of those budget gear videos. And I do a full walkthrough and breakdown of the new 50-liter frame pack that I've developed with my company that I hope to be putting out soon. So hopefully you guys dig this podcast. If you want to see more of these and you like the format and you just want to get more content from me, you should consider signing up for my Patreon community. My awesome community over on Patreon has been digging this podcast for the past 2 years, and I put it out every single Monday, I guess unless I'm traveling. So if you're interested, I'll put the link down below. If not, no big deal, but if you want to help support me and what I do here on the channel, check out the link. All right, so next week we will return to our regular scheduled program, but until then, enjoy. Good morning, my friends, and welcome to a fresh episode of The First Cup. How's everybody doing on this beautiful Monday morning? I have an action-packed episode of The First Cup for you today. I want to show you all kinds of stuff. I want to talk about some budget gear that I'm about to take out and test. Show you a couple of new little camera gadgets that I got for my Tour de Mont Blanc hike this year. I'm going to do something a little bit different. And I'm going to give you guys a little bit more of a deep dive and a first look at the new pack that I have been working on. One of the new packs that I've been working on. And give you a little bit of an update on kind of the trip plans and the adventure plans for this summer going into fall. I've kind of put some other stuff together and got a bunch of fun stuff to share with you guys. So did you guys have a good weekend? Hopefully you did have a good weekend. Hopefully you got out and enjoyed it. This weekend was Jess and I's 17-year wedding anniversary. So we celebrated yesterday by going out, riding some bikes, going to get some beers at a local brewery, and eating at one of our favorite restaurants. So it was a pretty good weekend. Aside from that, just kind of relaxed. Didn't really do a whole lot. Tried to relax because this weekend I have a really big trip coming up. So on Friday, I'm going to be flying out to LA and then hanging out in LA for about 4 days with my buddy Merrick. Merrick from Rology, you know, the cork balls. And then on next Tuesday, I'm going to be heading to Big Bear, California and starting my Highlander trek. So the event that I'm going to be doing and kind of pseudo-hosting. And then also not only backpacking and hiking with everybody, but then also doing a speaking engagement next week. So that'll be pretty fun. So a travel week. I got a travel week at the end of this week, and then that's really going to kind of start this really busy next handful of months, doing a bunch of different travel, a bunch of different places, from going to California, then going to Europe, then going to PCT days and spending some time on the PCT, then going out onto the AT in New Hampshire and the Whites, then coming back, then going up to Minnesota to do some hiking on the Superior Hiking Trail, which I'm going to talk about here in a little bit. It's going to be a busy next handful of months, but working on a bunch of awesome stuff. I wanted to share a bunch of stuff with you guys and let you know my plans. So I've even made a list today, folks. Put a list together so I can remember to update all of you on all of this. So to let everybody know, like I said, today I'm going to be showing a little more of a deep dive on the 50-liter framed pack that I've been working on, but probably at the end, I'm going to try to get it done at the end of this week. I'm going to try to get it done for everyone that's in the gear closet. I'm going to be showing you guys a first look at the other pack that we've been working on, the pack that I am super excited to use. And I'm going to be testing that and developing it a little further over in Europe next month to do the Tour de Mont Blanc and to climb the Matterhorn, because I'm going to be doing I'm going to attempt a summit of the Matterhorn just outside of Zermatt in Switzerland. So I'm excited about that one. But as long as we can get this new prototype somewhat finished by the end of this week, I'm going to be shooting a first cup. This is the first cup. I'm going to be shooting a gear closet for you guys. And all these Spilling Tea members, I will be doing a new episode of Spilling Tea right after this podcast. So look for that probably tomorrow. You guys are probably going to get that tomorrow or Wednesday. My guess would be tomorrow, though. So it's an action-packed week here on Patreon, or here in my world, in the Darwin on the Trail world of all this stuff that I'm working on. So as I said, I have a lot of trips coming up. So first off is going to be Highlander Big Bear. I'm going out there to hike that big event. That should be really fun. I'm really looking forward to that. It's been awesome to do these trips overseas with people. Go and do these hiking trips where everybody comes and we hike together and we camp together every night. Well, not camp together. We've been staying in like hostels and stuff. But on this trip, I'm going to be hiking every day with big groups of people and then camping every night with people. So a full-on like backpacking event. And then, like I said, I'm going to be doing that speaking engagement, which I think that my whole speech and everything is going to be on kind of my last really 12 years into backpacking. Going from weighing 275 pounds, being a pretty big cat, and being pretty unhealthy. There's a lot of health issues in my family, heart disease, diabetes, all of that stuff. And I was at the point where I really wanted to start changing my life and turning it around. And I was at my biggest at 275. I started getting into the outdoors. And really at first it was riding, doing a lot of cycling. Then it was running. Then it was triathlon. And then in between there, I was really getting out and doing a lot more hiking, getting back out into the woods, finding my love for backpacking again, which I had left when I was a kid because I was in Boy Scouts and all that. And then that's all led to like the last 9 years of through hiking and now climbing and bike packing and all the stuff that I do. So I think that's what my talk is going to be about, my little seminar at Big Bear, or Highlander Big Bear. So been putting that together this week, kind of shuffling all that together and putting it, getting it ready. When I get back from Highlander, so I'll be out there for about a week. So like I said, I'm going early to hang out with Merrick. Then I'm going to be doing the event. And then when I get back, I'm going to be going out. I think it's probably going to be a solo backpacking trip. But I'm going to be going out a little bit kind of south of Flagstaff. A handful of years ago, I did a video about Clear Creek Wilderness. Absolutely beautiful place here in Arizona. I want to get back down there. But for this trip, instead of taking my typical gear load out, like the video that I just did this last Friday, if you guys got a chance to see how I pack my pack, I'm going to get out with something that people have asked me to do for years. Because for years on the channel, I did those ultralight gear on a budget, where I talked about like, here's the tent that I use, but if I was on a budget, here's a tent that would be a decent budget option for it. So I've decided to get onto Amazon, because it's sort of the cheapest place that I can find gear. And after all these years, go on there and see what is still on there, what's budget gear now, and build a big three for under $300. So I have bought a pack, a sleep system, so a quilt and a sleeping pad and a shelter, all for under $300. I came in right under $300. I think it was like $295, maybe a couple cents. But I wanted to show you guys a couple of things that I'm going to be taking out. Now, I haven't taken, the whole point of this video and the whole point of this trip is to take it all out blindly. So I bought a $300 Big 3 kit off Amazon. I'm gonna throw everything in my pack along with what I typically take, like my cook system, like, you know, the food that I would regularly take, clothes, all of that. But using that budget Big 3, and I'm just gonna go out and kind of see how it performs. I want to set up the tent for the first time out there on the trail. I want to put that pack on for the first time. Maybe kind of stupid, but we'll see. And use that sleep system for the first time. And just kind of see how it works and kind of document that and see, you know, what I think of this budget gear. So I want to show you guys a couple of the items that I have. So first off is the tent that I picked up. So back in the day, I kind of had used and suggested a couple different shelters. I think one of the best kind of budget shelters that ever came out of Amazon was one that I used called the Lense. Now it's gone on to be kind of popular. But I saw there was one that was kind of this one-person trekking pole tent that's very similar to the Durston, where it has 2 vestibules, 2 doors. It actually kind of, if anything, it reminds me of the old Six Moons Design Skyscape Trekker, and it's called the Featherstone. The Featherstone Backbone one-person tent. So I picked this up because I figured it looked interesting. It has double vents. It has double vestibules. You know, to be honest, it looks like a ripoff of kind of most of the ultralight tents on the market. It's not too crazy heavy. I won't spoil that. I won't spoil how much it weighs and all that stuff yet. But that is the tent that I picked up that I'll be taking out. And then I picked up a quilt by a company called, I think it's Zoo Believes. ZOOO Believes Outdoor. Zoo Believes. This is their backpacking down-filled sleeping bag. It's a quilt. It's basically a quilt. It's completely open and then it zips up. So the footbox closes, stuff like that. And it's rated, I found this funny, it's rated between 32 and 50 degrees. So what the actual rating is, I don't know, but that is the quilt that I picked up. And then I picked up a pad. I won't show you guys that yet. The pad actually is pretty interesting. I'm actually liking the pad. And then the pack, which I'll save that as well, maybe the next first cup that we do when I get back from my Highlander trip. So that's the stuff that I plan on taking out for that trip. Should be interesting. Should be quite interesting. It's been a long time since I kind of put together a budget kit like that and really went out and took it on the trail. Back when I was doing all those budget gear videos, I would kind of take one piece out at a time and use it for like a night, right? And see like, oh, okay, yeah, this is okay. But this is me taking out a full Big 3, budget Big 3 at the same time. So that should be pretty interesting. So after that, the next big trip is Tour de Mont Blanc. So I'll be heading over to Europe, back over to Switzerland, France, and Italy to do the Tour de Mont Blanc. Same as I did last year, we're going to do a very similar route. Got an awesome group of people going with me. And for this trip, last year I didn't really document it that much. I shot a little bit of video, but not a whole lot. You guys have probably seen it in some of my B-roll and stuff and my videos, but I didn't really shoot it to vlog it. This year, instead of taking my bigger camera that I typically take on my hikes, because of what I'm doing after the Tour de Mont Blanc, and I'll talk about that in a second, I'm going to be taking a bit of a smaller and different setup. So there's a camera that I bought a couple of years ago, and I took it, Jess and I took it with us to Europe last year when we went over to Spain, and that is this little Ryko GR3. The GR3X, which is a really awesome little point-and-shoot camera. If anybody's ever seen the little Fuji X100s or whatever, it's very similar. So it shoots some very film-looking photos. The plan is to take this and shoot all of my photos on it. It's small, it's compact, it doesn't really weigh much. It's got this little cool lens cap. Look at that. And the type of pack that I'm going to be taking, I'm actually going to be taking a very crazy ultralight minimal setup. So I'm going to be taking about a 25 to 28 liter pack for the Tour de Mont Blanc. Simply because every night we're staying in what's called a refuge, which is like a hostel or a tea house. And when you stay in those places, really all that you need is a sleeping bag liner, because all of those places, they have blankets, they have sheets. They just want you to use a sleeping bag liner. So it's just a hygiene thing, right? You stay inside of that so you're not getting everything else gross. And I'll probably take my inflatable pillow as well. So I'm not going to be taking much of a sleeping system. No sleeping pad, no quilt, none of that. As far as my layers and extra clothes go, there's not much there. And that's really all I'm going to need. You know, you don't need a cook system. You just need to carry snacks. So I'm going to be taking a very small 25 to 28 liter pack. And because of the type of pack, it's more of a fast pack style. So I wanted to have something small that I can easily grab and just try something different. So I'm going to be taking that camera, and I'm also going to be taking a camera that I recently got, which is the the Insta360 Ace Pro. I have talked about for years, I am not really a fan of action cameras. I started my channel on action cameras. I used to use a GoPro all the time to shoot all of my videos, and then I got away from it. I prefer a bigger camera. Over the years, I've used different GoPros. I had the DJI Pocket Osmo thing, and I've never really been happy with any of the footage. They're good if you're just doing all action, like if you're on a bike or something, but to actually vlog and stuff, I'm not really a big fan. Well, this guy came out, the Insta360 Ace Pro, which is very much like a GoPro, but it has a little flip-up vlogging screen. And the footage that I've seen come off of this from other people has looked pretty damn good. It's even got a little plug-in thing here on the side, so you can, so you can plug in a microphone. So I'll use a little bitty microphone, like the one that I used on the CDT, the one that just plugged in the side. And because I'm going to not only be doing the Tour de Mont Blanc, but I'm also going to be climbing the Matterhorn after the Tour de Mont Blanc. So I wanted something that would be just better as an action camera. When I go to climb the Matterhorn, I don't want to be lugging a big camera around because it's going to be a bit of a sketchy climb. So I figured this would be a perfect thing to use. So for that trip, I'm only going to be taking these. I will not be taking my bigger camera. So I'll be shooting all my video on this, and I'll be shooting all my photos on this because I want some good photos this time. This thing shoots phenomenal photos. And then for this, obviously, like doing a little bit of vlogging, a little bit of action-y type stuff. So we'll see what comes out of it. My plan is to kind of somewhat vlog the trip, and that's why I'm taking this, because I feel like, it'll be an interesting thing to test and to see if I would recommend something like one of these little action cameras. Like I said, I haven't been a big fan of these in the past, but I'm trying to just use some different stuff and utilize some different stuff. So that is the plan for July. So Tour de Mont Blanc, climbing the Matterhorn, which I'm super excited about. I'm hoping to have some of my friends that I finished the PCT with, Fez and Einstein, come with me to do it. So Einstein's going to be over there anyways. I'm trying to get Fez to come over to climb the horn. Then when I get back from Europe, I'm going to be shooting out to PCT Days in Cascade Locks, Oregon. So Evolve Supply Co. will be at PCT Days again this year. And then I think the plan is before we go to PCT Days, I think we're going to go hike a little bitty section of the PCT coming down into Cascade Locks, like right around Mount Hood. So the original plan for me was to go out and hike a big section of the PCT like I did last year, about 100 miles. But I have something going on right after PCT Days, and I have the option to shoot up to New Hampshire to the Whites. And because I'm going up there anyways, I'm like, well, instead of hiking a section of the PCT, why don't I go out and re-hike through the Whites? I haven't been in New Hampshire since 2016 and hiked that section of the Appalachian Trail, which is absolutely gorgeous. So I think that is the plan instead. So PCT Days, hike a little section of the trail like a day or two before PCT Days. I'm going to be driving back here, jumping on a plane, flying to New Hampshire. I'm doing an interview with a famous climber up there, and documentarian that lives in New Hampshire. And then while I'm out there, I'm going to hike a section of the AT and make a video on that and vlog it and all that stuff. So that is the new plan for August. And then September, I am actually planning on shooting up to Minnesota to do a section of the Superior Hiking Trail. But I'm going to do it a little bit different. You guys know that I am not a hammock person. I've never understood hammocks. I tried a long time ago to get into hammocks. I am going to be going up there to do a hammock section of the trail. I have a buddy that is really into hammocks, has been trying to talk me into it. So in September, I'm going to shoot up there, and I'm going to be doing a big hammock camping section of the Superior Hiking Trail. So that should be pretty interesting. We'll see how that goes. But it'll be fun. It'll be fun to prep for that. It'll be fun to go do it and do something that honestly I'm kind of uncomfortable with because I just don't like hammocks. But the whole goal was for him. He wants to convince me why I should like hammocks. So we'll see. So that is what's going on. Basically, that's my summer. That is my summer of adventures and travel. And in between, I still have all this content that I'm making, all these weekly videos for the next 4 weeks. I have a bunch of videos planned. 4 weeks, 4 months. I have a bunch of videos planned. I'm slowly whittling away on my board in there with all the different videos on it, like my 16, probably up to 20 now, videos I'm kind of whittling away at. But yeah, lots of fun stuff coming for here on Patreon and for the channel. So the last thing that I kind of want to dig in today is I want to show you guys, I want to kind of show you a little bit more of the 50-liter pack that we've been working on at Evolved. So if you guys remember, if you guys watched the live Q&A that I did from when I was traveling over to Nepal, I lost my Nalgene that I had that for so long, probably 12 to 15 years I had that Nalgene. It was a Nalgene that I carried on my winter trips. You guys have probably seen it a ton of my videos. It had an orange top, it had stickers all over it. I lost that in Doha in the airport on the way over, which broke my heart, absolutely broke my heart. So when I got back, I actually got a new Nalgene. So there's my fancy new Nalgene. Starting to build stickers on it. Not too shabby. A lot of Arizona stuff on there. Outdoor Evolution, Evolved, Zia Records, Wooden Tooth Records, which is another one of my favorite record stores down in Tucson, Grand Canyon, and then a sticker and a thing that I've had for years. I've had it on cars. I've had it on my camper. I had it on my van. Kill Your TV. If you guys don't know the whole thing about Kill Your TV, look it up. But new Nalgene. All right, so let's get into what we're calling the Space Ranger. So obviously we make our 35 to 40 liter frameless pack, the Ranger, made out of an EPLX 200. Well, since we launched that pack, we have been asked multiple times when we're going to be putting out a bigger version of the pack. Because I needed one for all my winter camping, because I needed one for the climb of Island Peak and the trek through the Himalayas, and just because, we wanted to put out a new pack, we have been prototyping and working on what we are now affectionately calling the Space Ranger, which if you guys saw my not ultralight gear list, this was in it. This is a prototype. So we've made a couple adjustments on the next one, and you guys will get an update on that as soon as we kind of finish up the last things on it, but we're getting really close on it. So it has a lot of the same features that the Ranger has. So your traditional roll top pack, bottom pocket, big front pocket. But we've done a couple things to kind of alter it. So number one, the materials that we decided to use, we are using another EPLX 200. So that is this nice cool gray that you see on here. We're kind of in between right now if we want to go with this gray or a little bit of a lighter gray. The next prototype is going to be made out of that lighter gray, but a very similar construction to the Ranger as far as the outside of the pack. But we did a couple small things. The side pockets are much bigger on this than the than the Ranger. So as you can see, there's a Nalgene in there. So you can see it's a bit taller. Definitely swallows up the bottle more. And I think even on this last version, we made them just slightly bigger. We did a multi-point compression point on the side, so you can really pull in the pack because it does have a frame. And I've said for years that compression on the side of a pack is totally worthless unless you have a frame, because you need something to compress up against. So because this does have the frame in it, look, you can see the frame. There's the frame there. We have this multi-point compression, so it really pulls in the load onto the pack. Same roll top design as our last pack. It does have that beautiful fake brass buckle, the aluminum made to look like old brass buckle. That Venom mesh front pocket. I don't know why I'm doing this upside down. Venom mesh front pocket. We did a larger bumper plate though, so we did this nice kind of stylistic designed bumper plate or skid plate, and then it is a full-on pocket on the new one. So on this one, you can see it's kind of closed off. On the new version that I'll end up showing you guys, this is completely open, so you have all of this accessed all the way down to the bottom. Same thing with the front of it. It does have the point for a detachable Y-strap, so you can either use the single leash on top, or you can attach the removable Y-strap on it, so you can carry a bear can or something else on the top. The shoulder straps and the hip belt and the side pockets are made out of a material that we just started using called Ultra Grid. So the material that a lot of people really like, Ultra, there's the Ultra Weave that they use on pack bodies. This is the Ultra Grid. We've really been digging this stuff. This prototype is kind of a bad example of these shoulder straps because these are a little thinner. We were trying a couple of different widths of the shoulder strap. So the Ranger has very thick, wide shoulder straps, which is great because it really carries a nice load. So we were trying maybe to go with a little bit of a thinner strap, which is what this Proto has. But we've decided to go with kind of the same shoulder straps that we have on the Ranger because we've had such good feedback on that. So this one, like I said, a little bit thinner. The other one has much thicker shoulder straps. But same load lifters, nice load lifters. Has the camera clip spot that you can put it on there. You can put shoulder pockets on there. I don't have the sternum strap on there right now. Same sternum strap. And then if you look down here, here is our completely padded, removable, and lumbar pad hip belt. So a full-on hip belt, very different from the Ranger, with this lumbar pad. You can switch this hip belt out. So we're going to be offering this pack in 2 different sizes. So a small medium and a medium large. So 2 different torso lengths. And then 3 different sizes of belt. So you can switch this belt out. It's Velcroed in there. And then on the inside, the frame goes all the way down into the hip belt. So the frame is kind of plugged into this lumbar pad. So it really carries a load well. When I was doing the Island Peak trek, I had a lot of weight. I think my overall weight that I was carrying was 35 to 40 pounds. And it carried phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal for that amount of weight, which I'm very, very happy with. It'll carry up to probably about 50 pounds pretty comfortably. We've been loading it down a lot and testing it. Right now we have another prototype that's out in the field being tested that's going to have a lot of weight in it, so we're excited to see kind of how that does. And then a fully adjustable kind of Y-style hip belt. The thing that's not on this pack that everybody's been asking for is it will have hip belt pockets. So it'll have 2 different hip belt pockets. They're not on this, they're on the other prototype. I didn't take them to Nepal with me, but we do have those, and not only will we be offering them for this pack, but we'll also just be offering them because they are removable. So you can take them, and if you have a Ranger and you've wanted hip belt pockets on the Ranger, you'll be able to put those on there as well. So yeah, that's kind of your first deep dive look at the Space Ranger. Right now, we have a couple little tweaks to do. There's a couple things that we're really trying to get focused on the frame as far as the material that we're using for the frame. We're right in between either doing aluminum, which is pretty typical, or we've also thought about doing titanium, a titanium stayed pack. So right now we're prototyping a couple of those, but everything else is pretty good to go, and we're hoping to have it launched in August for pre-sale. So that is the plan. The Space Ranger to hopefully launch in August. We'll see what happens. One thing that I've learned, you can plan on releasing a product and getting it done, but all the prototyping, working with the manufacturer to make a good sample, to be ready for production, just everything. Materials, right now we're kind of backed up on materials. We're waiting for our supplier to get us the certain fabric that we want to use, which they're kind of backed up right now because of where it's made and shipping and all that stuff. So the plan is for an August release. That is really what we're trying for. So we'll see. And I'll keep you guys updated on that. Like I said, this pack we've been working on for a while and we're getting close. The other pack, everybody in the gear closet, you're going to get a first look at that. I'm hoping by the end of this week. It's very likely it'll be at the end of this week. I'll basically shoot a gear closet right before I take off for Big Bear. So exciting. So guys, that's it. That's it from my action-packed episode of the First Cup. So a lot to share with you guys, a lot of trips, a lot of gear, a lot of prototypes, a lot of stuff that I'm going to be testing in the field. I got a lot going on. Really excited about some of this new content that I'm working on too. Not only, some of these gear videos and stuff like that I've been doing, but also my hope is when I go up to Minnesota to do that section of the Superior Hiking Trail, I'll also be shooting some of the first episodes of the kind of the behind the scenes look at gear companies. So there's a couple companies up in Minnesota and around that area that I really want to go tour and talk to them and kind of start doing the interviews and start that process. So the plan for that series is to really come out probably sometime in the early fall, is my plan for that. So lots going on, guys. A whole lot going on. I cannot thank you guys enough for supporting me here and being along for the ride, supporting what I do here on Patreon, checking out the First Cup every Monday morning, and all of the other stuff that I release on here. So thank you guys so much for your support. You guys really help me to do all this stuff. It's really great to have you guys on my side, my team, my Patreon team. So like I said, a Spilling Tea episode coming out tomorrow or Wednesday. So keep an eye out for that if you are a Spilling Tea member. And then hopefully a Gear Closet episode by the end of this week, if not the weekend. So keep an eye out for that as well. I hope you guys have an excellent Monday. I hope it starts off an excellent, awesome, kick-ass week. I love you guys, and cheers.